Hey guys, this is Jeff from Shock Surplus here. We're here to walk you through how to install Fox Performance 2.0 shocks on your new Jeep JL. Previously we had Eric's Jeep up in Big Bear where we did the install, but we decided to take the Jeep into the shop and walk you through with a little more detail on how to get that done so you can do it at home. Alright, so just a few simple tools that you'll need. First thing you'll need is a 3/8 inch ratchet, 18mm socket, and a 19mm socket, and an 18mm wrench and a 19mm wrench, and of course your jack stand and your jack. Alright guys, we're here at the front of the Jeep. We got the Jeep supported by jack stands, and we have the axle supported by the jack. Now, the reason why we have the axle supported by the jack is so that when we remove the shocks, the axle will not, the jack will help prevent the axle from falling on you and potentially hurting you. Now, Eric does have a metal Cloak lift, and with metal Cloak's lift, they include a lower shock mount relocation bracket. And what that does is it moves the lower shock mount outboard from the OEM location, so that with under heavy articulation, there's no interference between the lower control arm and the shock. Now, to take off the lower shock mount, it's just a 19mm wrench here on this side, 19mm socket on this side, and righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. With the OEM mount, which is right here, you'll just need an 18mm wrench and an 18mm socket. All right, to get access to the upper shock mount, you pull this fender liner out and you remove the 19mm bolt. Once you get that removed, you'll be able to pull the shock out. So one thing you'll notice when you have the OEM shocks removed is they will have these spacers that'll come off from the upper mount bushing. Now these Fox 2.0 Performance shocks, they have these built in on their bushings, so there won't be any need to reuse your factory spacers from your shocks. All right, to get these shocks in, simply line up the shock mount bushings with the shock mount. Pull in this fender liner. Now to get the lower shock mount in, just want to make sure you get the lower shock lined up with the bracket. You may have to play with the jack a little bit, make sure everything gets aligned. Take your 19mm wrench, your 19mm socket, and tighten her up. All right, so we're at the back of the Jeep now. Just like the front, we have the axle supported by the jack and the Jeep on jack stands. Moving the shocks is going to be pretty similar. Tools that you'll need is going to be a 18mm wrench and 18mm socket. Start off with the lower mount. Once you get that removed, it's just get that moved out of the way. And it's just an 18mm bolt on top. Just like on the front shocks, the upper mount uses spacers in their bushings, and these Fox 2.0 performance shocks have that spacer built in, so there won't be any need to reuse your OEM spacers. You're gonna want to line up the upper mount and slide the bolt through. And take your lower mount, line it up, slide your bolt through, thread the nut on, and that's it. Once you got everything tightened up, time to put your wheels and tires on, and you're good to go. Hit the trails. All right, guys, got everything bolted down, torqued down, Jeep is on the ground, ready to go hit the trails. As you saw, pretty simple install. Just 2 bolts per corner, and just as long as you have some mechanical knowledge, something super easy to do at your own home. So when you're ready to get some shocks, feel free to give us a call, and we'll get you set up and on your way.